What's going on, people? So I made that video talking about how retailers are being biased when it comes to supporting Nintendo the same way they support PlayStation and Xbox. Um, I made that video because it needed to be said. Um, but I don't want people to think, oh, well, pardon me, you're just, fanboying for Nintendo. I don't want people to think that. Instead, what I want people to do is I want them to go run out to Target. I want them to go run to Walmart or wherever they buy their video games. And I want them to walk around and I want them to physically see what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I want them to see, you know, because I don't want to favor one over the other. If you earn that top spot, you earn that top spot. But if the places that we go to get these things are not being honest with us, then we shouldn't support them either. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to buy your games off of GameStop or a Walmart or a Best Buy or a Target. You shouldn't have to go in there and purchase anything from these people if these people do not want to show you an even playing field. You know what I'm saying? And I understand the whole selling bullshit. I get that. But when it comes to video games, when it comes to that market, it should be an even playing field. It should be even across the board. The games should speak for themselves. Like, whether the game is good or bad, that should be all that determines anything. Unfortunately, we don't live in that kind of a time period right now. We live in the best graphics of all time, the greatest look a game can have. That's what we live in now. We don't live in, hey, the game has a decent story and is built on even more by the look of the game, the deliverance of the game, the way the game is played and handled. We don't look at games like that anymore. We look at bullshit numbers that shouldn't mean anything. We're looking at these numbers and going, oh, well, it's the number one selling console because it's got the sales. But sales don't really mean anything. If you walk into a Walmart and let's just say that Walmart is pushing Nintendo more than PlayStation, you're going to be like, how does PlayStation have all those sales? Like, where is it? Because their games are not here. Same thing if you walk into a GameStop or a Best Buy or a Target. If you happen to walk in based off of the information you are given and what you're seeing is completely opposite from what you're told, you start questioning what you're hearing. You see what I'm saying? You're like, that can't be true because of the fact that I'm not seeing that advertised where I go pick up my fucking stuff at. Oh, um, you know, the Switch is doing great from what everyone's saying. The Switch is selling great, and there's a whole bunch of videos out there talking about how good this system is. But walk into these stores and you be like, I don't understand what's so great about it. The selection of games is piss poor. But then you go and you do your research, you Google the list of games available, you're like, there's a lot more there than what's advertised when you walk into these stores where you go to buy your games. I mean, it's just like with cell phones. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Same thing with cell phones. Same thing with movies, in fact. Movies. Okay? Imagine hearing Blu-ray is the number one selling product, right? Blu-ray is the definitive way to watch movies and all that good shit, right? Yet, when you walk into a store to buy a movie, all they have is DVDs. Not Blu-ray DVDs, but regular DVDs. Would you believe that Blu-ray would be the number one way people consume movies and shit like that? Would you believe that? More than likely not. More than likely you're gonna go, this is in a specific location. That location is where that is. You see what I'm saying? So, when you see those things, it should make you question everything around you. And like I said, I don't want people going, oh, well, you say this because you're a Nintendo fan. No, I don't say that because I'm a Nintendo fan. I say that because it needs to be said, okay? If PlayStation was getting one side with that much advertisement room in stores Meanwhile, you had Nintendo being a full fucking wall and Xbox being a full wall. I would say the exact same thing. Like, why are you not having the same advertisement room for every one of these products? They're all the same. They should have the exact same advertisement space. There shouldn't be anything any different unless, oh, PlayStation has a new game coming out like God of War. Oh, well, we have advertisement space for that God of War, but we have to sacrifice the PlayStation side of things because it needs that room. You shouldn't sacrifice one product due to the other two you want to support, even though there's more than just those two on the market. You're acting like I don't want to support this over here just for whatever reason you come up with. You see what I'm saying? And that unfortunately is a slow process to actually digest with people when they go, well, I don't like shopping online, but the variety is much wider and it's much more in depth of a selection if you shop online. You know, if you go to a GameStop, you're not guaranteed to find the game. You might find it, you're not guaranteed, but if you go on GameStop.com, you're more than likely going to find the game on there. And unfortunately, for companies like GameStop, companies like Walmart, companies like Target, they gotta understand they are competing within themselves against themselves because being able to buy that said product, being able to buy this said product in a store is a great thing to have because hey, them stores can stay open because you're able to go in and buy it. But the more that this is not available and the less room you have for this here, the more likelihood of that person not going to your store and just buying it off your website, creating the problem that you yourself are trying to fix. When it comes to GameStops, when it comes to Walmarts, when it comes to all these retail places, they don't want you shopping online like that because they have to have these stores in order to employ these people and for people to have a job. But the more they make it difficult for you to go in places and buy whatever it is, whether it be Vita games or it be Switch games or PlayStation, whatever, the more they make it difficult for that line right there, the more people are not going to go spend it on in the store. They're going to go online. They're going to go on the eBays. They're going to go on the Amazons, the Craigslist, the .coms for the retail stores, and they're going to buy it that way, taking the money directly out of the store's pockets. You see what I'm saying? Because oh well, the company makes money. Yeah, but the company makes money online, and if they're making more money online, then why do they have a store if nobody's going? That's damage to the store, even if it's the same company. You see what I'm saying? You can't expect the store to stay open if nobody's going in the store. And the more you drive the customer out of the store because you don't want to supply the product, the more that person is not going to come back to the store because you don't have the product. And the more they might still buy it from your company due to the fact that it's online, but that's them spending money online. And because you're not getting that customer in that store and they're not spending the money in the store, you're looking at a lot of people who are not going to be working due to the fact that these companies aren't smart enough to go, we need to make this shit in the store. We need to have this here. The online thing is an option. You can go to the online thing, but you can find it at the store. That's the thing. That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Same thing with buying digital only. I am a digital customer when it comes to the Xbox side of gaming. I buy everything for Xbox digital. I have no physical copies of games like I do for my Vita or my PS4. I don't have any physical games. I have all digital content for that system. I do not go to stores to buy video games for that system. I go to the stores and I look at the games to get ideas for what I want to look for. I don't purchase anything physically for Xbox unless it's a original Xbox One from back in the day. I am not gonna be purchasing any of the um, physical copies. And that in turn hurts the stores because I'm not going to the stores and spending money. I'm going there and walking around, but I'm not spending any money. So I'm saying that's why GameStop's been bitching is people aren't spending money in the stores. If you carried everybody equally, people would buy from your store. if you displayed everything equally, people would buy from your store. And if you made it easy to find whatever it is I'm looking for in the store, then I would be in the store. You feel what I'm saying to you? I mean, come on. You want to stop an all digital age of happening, then you need to be ahead of the currents. You need to be ahead of the wave, and you need to use common sense. Well, we know what people are looking for. They're looking for a even playing field here. You got to have Switch available. You got to have Xbox and PlayStation, all of them available. Oh, PlayStation has a handheld. Well, it's got to be there with the PlayStation things, and it's got to be the same equivalent size as what we're gonna have for the 3DS, because that's a thing too. And even if the 3DS eats up more space due to the fact there's a laundry list of games out there, it still has to be present. You see what I'm saying? You have to display all these on an even playing field. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, then you're creating your own problem, because we're not going to you to buy the game anymore. We're going to the .coms. We're going to Amazon. We're going to eBay. We're going to Craigslist. We're going somewhere else to give them our business because you have failed at your job. You see what I'm saying? And like I said before, it goes down without even hesitation. This didn't apply to movies, CDs, whatever. If you fail at your job, which is to be a store in which I go in and buy my merchandise, if you fail to do that on any level, then you fail to make the money in that store. And that money might go to a .com or just some random person on the road because he had what I was looking for. You feel what I'm saying to you? And that's what I'm pointing out, because like I said, I don't want people looking at that video going, oh, well, he's just fanboying for Nintendo. No, I don't want you to look at that and think that. I want you to look at it and go, that's actually true. The more these companies are worried about all digital, then they need to be ahead of that, ahead of the wave, and they need to act like they are afraid. And they need to create more room if they need more room, or they need to invent room for these products. They don't need to have a biased opinion, because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be the middle person. You're supposed to be unbiased about it. Oh, you like Nintendo? Well, here's the Nintendo selection. You like PlayStation? Here's PlayStation. You like Xbox? Here's Xbox. You like Blu-ray? Here's Blu-ray. You like DVD? Here's DVD. You need to have both of them, and you need to have the same amount of both of them. You don't need to have selections of both of them. You need to have the same amount of variety for both. Otherwise, you're playing that bullshit of, I prefer this one over this one, and it looks like this company's paying me for space, where this company I'm just putting in here because I kind of have to. And that creates problems within your area and your market. And that's the whole point, okay? Digital can happen tomorrow if they don't fix that. You know what I mean? If they don't fix these things, if people start using up here and thinking about that way, then more people will stop buying physicals. More people will start buying digitally, because who knows if you're going to be able to find it at your particular location. You know what I'm saying to you? Who knows? Are you going to be able to find the game even though the game is on everything? Are you going to be able to find the version of the game you want? That right there plays a major role in whether or not you're going to continue shopping at that location. Because if you know that your game is on Xbox One but they only have it on PS4 or the Switch, you're going to be like, where is my Xbox copy? It's obviously it's a thing. You know it's a thing. You should have this here, because you have it on the Switch, you have it on the PlayStation. There's no excuse for you not to have it on Xbox. Or it could be on the Xbox and PlayStation. They don't have the Switch version. Why don't you have the Switch version? You obviously carry the game. It's not a matter of, well, we didn't know. It's not that, because there's two copies of the same one fucking game over there. Where's the copy for this one? Because you have an audience for this section as well. You need to make sure all your grounds are covered. But like I said, I wanted to cover that because I didn't know if anybody else did. I don't know if anyone else had that thought process when they walk in anywhere. Wow, this is really biased and more favoritism towards a certain product versus just being a person who has the products and sells them. I didn't know if anybody else thought that way or if anybody else ever saw anything that way. That's just how I'm seeing it, because I pay attention to shit like that for some reason. And I wanted to explain the video last because I didn't want people looking at it going, oh, well, he's a fanboy of Nintendo just bitching about his product. No, no, no. I'd say the same thing if it was PlayStation or if it was Xbox. Hell, I'd say the same thing if it was even Sega. Okay, I don't like to see an unfair advantage in this whole console beat 'em up war we have with each other. If it's an even playing field, then you can actually have a decent conversation between people. But as it stands right now, it's not an even playing field, and I don't care if you're a PlayStation fan, an Xbox fan, or a Nintendo fan. The one thing you have to admit is it's not a playing field that is evenly spread out the way that it ought to be, and it's looking like the main people who run these stores are playing favorites. Even if you don't like Nintendo, you have to admit that. You have to be able to go, you know what? That's absolutely right. That's not fair to not have the same advertisement, not have the same games, even if they're available. It's not right to do that. You know, it's just not right. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Deuces.